Hey Han, I'm Chloe and this is the Cupid tutorial. My mission is to share my passion for pole dancing and make pole dancing easy to learn and accessible. This is the 20-second video of the intermediate pole trick tutorial series. In order to maximize your training out of all the videos, I highly recommend you to start from the very first video of this playlist, as the tricks will be a progression of the video before. Cupid is such a pretty move. I have 4 different variations for you today. The prerequisite of this move is the genie, no-handed version, and also the maxi or the bird, so make sure that you watch that tutorial before attempting this one. This video is mirrored for your ease of learning. I'll have a red wristband on my right wrist and my right ankle to indicate the right side of my body if you do get confused of the directions. This video is created for you for informational and educational purposes only, and for you to enjoy learning pole dancing from the comfort of your own home. Please participate at your own risk and don't work beyond your capability, and seek help or spotting when necessary. For any health concerns, please make sure you seek professional medical advice. Ensure to warm up your body before you start this video. I have a warm up depending on your level under each playlist so that you can try it before you do the tricks. If you enjoy this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up so that I know to create more of these kinds of videos, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet so that you are notified every single time I upload a video. If you're looking to further your pole journey and combining tricks and dance together, then consider subscribing to my online learning platform Pole Art Vault, where you'll be learning tricks and dance together and learning an entire routine combining dance and combos. You can find the link in the description below for further information. Alrighty, without further ado, let's get into the Cupid tutorial. Alrighty, now let's get into our conditioning. Now our first conditioning is going to be our standing knee hook squats. Now we're going to come onto the left side of the pole and hook our inside knee at hip height. Now make sure that this knee doesn't go any higher or any lower than this, always at hip height. Now from here, we're going to start thrusting the hip forward as I squeeze that heel towards the booty. And then from there, I'm gonna start pressing my hips into my thigh. So all I'm doing is pressing the hips forward as I engage my core, and then I'm pressing my hips into my thigh. So try to remember this sort of movement. Now I'm just gonna go from the side so that you can see what's happening with my hip. When I'm coming into a hip extension, I'm pressing my hips forward until my hips and knees are aligned. When I'm pressing backwards, you can see that I'm pressing my hips into my thighs and pressing my bum back as I keep squeezing that leg. So this ankle is still squeezing towards me the whole entire time as I just shift my hip forward and backwards. Now we're gonna start adding the squat into it. So you're gonna get your hip in extension, press your hips forward, engage your core, tuck that tailbone in. Then I'm gonna press backwards, come into a squat. Hips forward and then back. Perfect. Your hamstring should be doing a lot of work, and also your hips and your core and your glute. Let's try it on the other side. I'm gonna stand right next to the pole. I step a little away from the pole so that you can hook your inside knee at hip height. I'm gonna thrust my hip forward as I engage the core, and then I'm gonna bend as I press my hips into the thigh. Thrust forward and then back down. Thrust forward and back down. Good, keep squeezing that heel. Nice, good, 2 more. Keep squeezing that leg. Last one. Perfect, well done. All right, shake those legs off. If you need a bit of a hamstring stretch, if you're feeling crampy, then make sure that you lean forward, get a bit of a fold over to get that stretch through your hamstring. Woo, that must have been a nice, good stretch. If you felt that crampy sensation, you're definitely doing it right, because that means you're engaging those hamstrings. Well done. All right, now let's move on into our next one, which is going to be practicing our Cupid position. So we're gonna stand very, very close to the pole so that our outside leg is on the pole. So you can see that the arch of my foot is on the pole. I'm gonna start leaning a little further away until I'm hooking my inside leg at hip height. Now from here, see if you can open your chest as you take your outside and out to the side. You're gonna start thrusting that hip forward, squeeze that leg as much as you can. See if you can take those hands up into the air. You're gonna grab the pole and then come out. Nice. Let's try that again. Now again, make sure that you're leaning away. So I'm opening my chest away, but not disengaging the leg. I'm squeezing the leg as much as I can. I'm gonna start taking the hand off. See if you can take both of your hands up into the ceiling. Grab the pole. Well done. Whew. All right, shake your leg off if you need to, and let's try it on the other side. So I'm gonna bring my inside leg slightly forward so that I can get my outside foot onto the pole. I'm hooking that inside leg at hip height. Now I'm gonna start turning that chest away so that my chest is facing forward. Squeeze that leg as much as you can. See if you can take that inside and off. I'm gonna take both of my hands up into the ceiling. Grab the pole and then pull yourself back in. Good. Let's see if we can do one last one. Extend that arm. Make sure that you keep engaging your core. Tuck that tailbone in. Squeeze that leg. Take that hand off. Good. See if you can take both of your hands up. Perfect. Good. Grab the pole. Well done. All right. Shake your legs off and your arms off if you need to. Well done. So there is all your conditioning done. Alrighty. Now let's get into our Cupid. As I mentioned earlier, I have 4 different variations for you today. Now the prerequisite of this move is to be able to do the maxi or bird, and also your genie no-handed. So please make sure that you've watched those tutorials before you attempt this trick, because I'm not gonna be breaking down those moves. This is what a Cupid looks like. First variation. Second variation. Third. And fourth. Alrighty, so let's break down all of these Cupids. Now, our first variation is our hand still on the pole. So again, we're coming into a climb. We're going to come into a hook position with our inside leg a little bit higher than how you would do an aerial front hook. So instead of hooking your knee nice and low, this time I'm gonna hook our knee a little bit higher so that it's hip height. From there, see if you can slide your hand a little bit lower, then you're gonna take your hand out to the side. Remember that it is super crucial to thrust your hip forward, lean your chest away from the pole, but not too far away. So I'm essentially just turning forward and then relying on that leg, see if you can keep that hand on the pole. Now, second variation, I'm gonna get my hand, outside hand onto the pole. I'm gonna grab my ankle, pull that ankle in towards my booty, then see if you can lean away from the pole. Second variation. Now for a third one, you're gonna keep that engagement through your leg as much as you can. Squeeze the pole with those legs. See if you can take both of your hands up into the ceiling, or reach one hand up, other one up. This is really up to you to stylize your hand. Now the last one is your full side bend, or even a back bend if you're feeling really secure. Now for the last one, just ensure, or even both hands off, just ensure that you have enough grip on your foot and also your inside leg to be able to hold that position. Now, in terms of your outside leg, when you're pressing your outside foot onto the pole, you're thinking about sickling your foot and you're turning both of your toes down to the floor. So remember that this might be our first time doing any sort of foot grip. So just make sure that when you're grabbing the pole, you are using and actively curling your foot onto the pole so that you have enough grip through your foot. So if you are wearing socks, you might want to take them off. I know some people prefer having socks on, and that kind of helps them grip because they have really sweaty feet. So grip up your feet and your hands if you need to, y'all. All right, so let's try our Cupid. So I'm gonna come into a climb. I'm actually starting with my outside hand on top so that when I climb to the top, my inside hand is going to naturally be on top. So outside hand on top as I climb. I'm pulling the top hand, pushing away with the bottom hand. I'm gonna get my foot and then knee onto the pole. Make sure that you got a lot of grip and then push the pole away with your bottom foot. See if you can thrust your hip and then hand on the pole. I'm gonna grab the pole with my outside hand, grab your inside ankle with the opposite hand, then I'm gonna take the outside hand off. Well done. So probably should have mentioned to come out, grab the pole, and then just step out through your outside leg, then inside leg down. Now let's try this on the other side, and this time I'm gonna start taking both of the hands off and guide you through the process of this. Now just remember, again, do not attempt this unless you feel like you have enough grip, and you can always feel, if you're feeling a little bit scared, you can always get a spotter next to you so that they can almost just catch you. Now on the other side, I'm gonna show you how to do a Cupid from an outside leg hang. Once you come into your outside leg hang, you're gonna bring your inside leg a little bit closer, so bend your bottom leg, press the foot onto the pole, then you're gonna come into a full hip extension. So, into your invert outside knee hook. You're gonna reach your outside and above, then see if you can bring your inside leg onto the pole. Make sure that you bend through the bottom leg, so not fully extended, bend through so that you can press the pole away with your bottom leg, and then you're coming into your Cupid. Wrap that foot around, see if you can take your hands out to the side and then all the way. To come out, pull back, grab the pole, step out with your outside leg, then inside leg. Well done. So there you have it. We've done our 2 entries from a climb into a hook, into your Cupid, and also from an outside leg hang, pressing out into a Cupid. We also did our 4 different variations. Our Cupid with our top hand on the pole, inside hand on the ankle, hands off, then hands all the way, and then side bend or back bend. Well done. Alrighty, now let's go through some tips and common mistakes for this move. Now, our first common mistake is our foot positioning. Now, this is extremely crucial when you're doing your Cupids. Ensure that you're wrapping your foot actively on the pole. So when I mean by wrap, I'm placing the arch of my foot onto the pole. I'm curling those toes and my heel into the pole, and I'm gonna lock it by pulling the toe down to the floor. And as soon as I wrap it, you can feel the lock through your pinky and also through your fingers or from your toes. So ensure that you've got a lot of grip through your foot. Now let's again talk about the grip points for this one as well, because these are crucial. When you are in your Cupid, a lot of the grip is going to be the back of your knee and also slightly on the side of your knee. So just ensure that you're not just gripping the back of your knee, but also the both sides of the knee to feel extremely grippy. Now the other grip point is obviously your foot. So if you have sweaty feet, wipe it off, grab some grip aid, grip up your foot. It helps a lot. I know it's gonna sound a little bit strange, but I always grip up my foot so that I have enough grip on my feet. The more you're standing up, you'll feel that your feet are gonna get a little bit sweaty. You do always stand on your feet and you're using your foot a lot, so ensure that you grip up your feet. Now, the last grip point is obviously your hand. So ensure that you have enough grip for your hands and your feet. Again, if you have something, if you are sweaty, then you might want to grab something a little bit more drying for your skin. And if you have dry skin, then make sure you get something a little bit more tackier. Comment down below if you have any questions, and I'm always willing to help you with your grip journey as well. This is very, very crucial. Now, let's also go through the positioning of our legs. Now, when you're hooking your inside leg onto the pole, ensure that your leg is at hip height, no lower nor higher. Now, if you hook it higher, then you're gonna struggle to do moves that are about to come, which are transitions going into different moves. So ensure that your knee is at hip height and you are always thrusting the hip forward. If you're sitting down like this, you can see that my leg kind of slides out of it. So in order to get all that grip, you have to have your hip in full extension and chest away from the knee. Now, the other common mistake is the positioning, or I guess the angle of the knee hook. Now, when you are hooking your knee, if your knee is facing up into the ceiling, it's gonna slide out. If my knee is facing down to the floor, it's gonna slide out. Your optimal grip for the knee hook is hooking your knee so that it is facing away at an angle. This is gonna ensure that you get enough grip to be able to turn your hip away from the pole and you're feeling extremely secure. So ensure that your knee angling and the positioning when you're hooking is optimal so that you can find that grip point. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it is extremely crucial to have that hip in full extension. If that's not the case, you're going to start sliding down or you feel like you don't have that knee grip enough. So make sure that you utilize all the parts of the body that you need. It's not just your knee doing a lot of the work. Take your hips and make sure that your hips are doing. Now, in order to get your Cupid from an outside leg hang, ensure that you're always bending through that inside leg that is on the pole so that you can come into a full hip extension. If you are not pressing that bottom leg onto the pole and bending it, you won't be able to press through, or your hip is going to be lower than that knee. So ensure that the bottom leg is pressing, so bend through that bottom leg so you can lift all the way into that full Cupid. Now let's also talk about stylizing the Cupid, especially for those that are taking their hands off. Now, in terms of your hands, try not to keep your hand out just to the side, like as if you're a traffic controller. Ensure that you're beautifying your hands by reaching out. You can always keep moving your hand to the side if you prefer. Just make sure that you're gentle through your elbows and your wrists. What I like to do is bring my shoulder slightly up, then my elbow, then reaching my fingertips at the very end. Think of a lopsided ear fox through your fingers, gently reaching out. Now, if you are taking both of your hands off, then that means that you can stylize your hands even more. When you are reaching both of your hands, you can obviously synchronize both of your hands so that they're doing the same thing, which is still quite nice. Reaching up and then down, then back up. Or what I prefer is an asymmetrical shape. So instead of bringing both of your hands and doing the same thing, which if you are working towards your coordination, this is probably the easiest option for you. If you want to go for a little bit of a unique route, think about going asymmetrical with your hands. So what that means is my left hand, my right hand is doing opposite things. And you can see that the more you asymmetricalize the move, it just creates more of a unique sensation and also look. And I feel like that's how you can create your own unique kind of flavor to the move. So feel free to do whatever works for you. Just make sure that you either keep moving your hand. If you want to just hold there, you can hold it. It's really up to you, but just always stylize according to what your unique style is. Now, the other stylizing thing you can do is your head movement. So remember that rather than just looking over your shoulder, which still looks nice, you can always look towards the top hand, look over the shoulder, and that's just gonna create more of that beautiful and unique shape. So try exploring with your head movement. Tuck your chin in, look over the shoulder. Maybe you wanna look up, look towards your fingers, maybe even away from the finger. Try exploring with your moves. Now, there's all your tips and common mistakes. Now, before I let you go, I have a little tip, or I should call it a general tip in terms of pole and creating your unique style. Now that we're on a topic of Cupid and creating those nice moves, this is probably the best opportunity and time for you to start exploring your own unique style. For myself, because I have a figure skating background and flamenco as well, I am super conscious of my fingertips because flamenco hands. And in figure skating as well, because figure skating is all about those nice ballet lines, you know, looking over the shoulder, just beautifying those hands. And this is obviously very unique to me and my style. You might have some stylistic choices that you like. Maybe you like some hip hop style, maybe you like a little bit more Latin flow, contemporary, and all these different styles melded into pole is such a beautiful thing. And that's what I love about pole dancing, is that there's so many people from different genres of styles of dancing, or like even gymnastics, or maybe even have an art background. And I think it's great to see these unique styles. So try exploring with your movement. Maybe put some music on, freestyle to some of the tricks that we've learned in our tutorial series, and try moving through and see what your body can create through those moves. Thank you so much for joining me in the Cupid tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the very next tutorial. Bye! What are you doing there? Are you being silly? You're in my way, sorry. All right.